Top story this bulletin, I tell you about what's happening with the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. He's not backing down. He's taking one step after another. He believes that now visa appointments need to be shut. Already, if scheduled, possibly can continue. But in the backdrop of his decision with the Harvard University, the Trump administration has directed all American embassies worldwide to stop scheduling new visa appointments for student applicants. This is specific to student applications. The State Department is preparing to expand social media vetting now of international students. So basically, what has been written on social media, if at all, is being tracked. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced that updated guidance on the vetting process will be issued after an ongoing review. Until then, consular sections have been advised to suspend new student and exchange visa scheduling. This is the program through which the students from other countries come in. Previously, social media screening was applied selectively if the students are required to be screened. For example, if there are specific demonstrations. The goal is to stop, according to the Trump administration, to stop anti-Semitism and political violence that Trump administration believes has been increasing in American universities. At the Harvard University, for example, one of the most prestigious of the world, hundreds of students and faculty members staged protests, voicing support for foreign students, opposing administration's attempt to defund the university. Marco Rubio has clarified that appointments already scheduled will continue under current rules, but that means unbooked slots are to be removed. New schedules will not happen for now. Listen in now to what is being said by the Trump administration officials on the ground and the protesters as well, those who believe this is not a good decision.
There are about 31%, almost 31% of foreigners coming to Harvard. We give them billions of dollars, which is ridiculous. We do grants, which we're probably not going to be doing much grants anymore to Harvard. But they're 31%, but they refuse to tell us who the people are. We want to know who the people. Now, a lot of the foreign students we wouldn't have a problem with. I'm not going to have a problem with foreign students, but it shouldn't be 31%. It's too much because we have Americans that want to go there and to other places, and they can't go there because you have 31% foreign. Now, no foreign government contributes money to Harvard. We do. So why are they doing so many? Number one. Number two, we want a list of those foreign students, and we'll find out whether or not they're okay. Many will be okay, I assume. And I assume with Harvard, many will be bad. And then the other thing is they're very anti-Semitic. Everybody knows they're anti-Semitic, and that's got to stop immediately.
All right, so remember, there are protests that have broken out as well. Joining me from India Today Global, Pranay Upadhyay. Pranay, good morning. What does it mean? And for Indian students listening to you right now, it may not be exactly about the Indian students, but the law is getting tougher. What is the reasoning behind it, and how do Indian students go about it?
Good morning, Pooja. And I think the Trump administration is getting tougher on university as far as the enrollment of international students are concerned. We could see from the data of the Student Exchange Visitor and Information System, SVIS, of the United States, which clearly shows that there is a decline in the enrollment of the international student over a few months now. And now, with this latest decision of having a greater scrutiny on the international students' enrollment, their visa program, and the curb on the visa allotments, and so on. So this clearly shows that Trump administration is on a crackdown on international universities, and in the name of this anti-Semitism. However, this is a very ironical situation because most of these, the U.S. universities are the beneficiary of the international talent, and even the United States economy got benefited out of it. You see the top CEOs coming from different countries, and even students of Indian origin who occupied later on greater positions in the United Nations, United States international corporations, the big corporate sector, and even people like Sundar Pichai who studied who was born in India, studied in India, and later on for the higher education he went to the United States and now heading Google. So this clearly shows that the US has been a beneficiary of the international talents, international students. But now, in the name of anti-Semitism, President Trump, in the name of the diversity, equality, and
Yes.
other provisions, now he is cracking down on these US universities. They're in the name of cracking down on protest. And as the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, clearly said that you do not enjoy, you came to US on a student visa, but you do not enjoy the similar, the constitutional rights in the name of freedom of expression, and
Yes.
that any protest would be a violation of your visa rules, and therefore we would be having a stricter scrutiny on the international students.
Pranay, I request you to please stay on with me. I remember that most of this is with regard to the Israel-Gaza conflict, especially the kind of violent agitations we've seen at the universities in the USA. But if you are an Indian student, an Indian applicant, I have some questions I understand, and I'll try and answer that for you. Let's begin one by one. What has America announced? For now, it has decided to pause the new student and exchange visa program appointments. This is the program through which the students apply. Now, globally, this has been paused. No new appointments are likely to take place. So then who will be affected in India? If you're already through, you've taken admission, that doesn't hamper. But the fall 2025 first-time applicants, exchange students who are set to enter into the universities, that means on J1 visa, usually, they are going to perhaps face a problem this time because they may not have an interview slot, and that scheduling will not happen right now. But what if you've already managed to schedule an appointment with the US Embassy? That will continue. It's as planned. You can go ahead. For now, we are told, according to Trump administration officials, scheduled appointments will continue. Why is this happening? One, it is with regard to a stricter social media vetting under new security rules. If there's been a certain agenda, anti-American agenda, for example, anti-Trump agenda, all of that has been put forth on social media, it's going to be scrutinized, especially if you're applying to a university. Expected of how the behavior could be in the universities. Could this delay the college plans? It can. If you do not have an interview slot yet, even though you may have cleared for the university, you could have problems coming up for you with regard to entering into that university or clearing the visa process. But is this permanent? No, that is the good news. For now, it is temporary, and we've seen in the past few weeks, every decision that Donald Trump has announced, there's also been a certain relief or perhaps a rollback on them. No end date has been announced for now. This is a decision, so we'll see how this goes ahead, especially can it have a stay legally. But can I still apply online? If we are wondering, you can apply online, but you may not be able to schedule an interview even if you've cleared for a university. So then what should the Indian students do, Indian applicants? Stay in touch, according to our sources, with your university, considering possibly if you can defer an admission, if you can have other study destinations, do not just sit and wait on it. Keep tracking the embassy updates because there are consistent changes that are coming in. So there would be a likely concern, and this isn't as much about Indian students but other foreign nationalities, but it is bound to impact the Indian students, and needless to say, be cautious on what you put out on social media. Pranay continues to be with us. Pranay, I find it interesting. I believe this is with regard to how the anti-Israel, anti-America protests also that had happened at the universities, pro-Palestine protests is one of the reasons. But this could impact thousands of applicants and students across the world. Do you believe this could lead to a legal case, protests on the ground? Universities are likely to take this up. I can imagine the fee structure that a lot of these foreign students bring in.
Definitely, the U.S. economy get benefited out of the international students.
Yes.
The U.S. universities get benefited out of the international students. And you could make out the universities have already approached the U.S. courts. The Boston court is already hearing the case of Harvard University because the Trump administration has already announced and announced the stoppage on Harvard University to accept the international student. But as you rightly mentioned about the J1 visa, but not only the J1 visa, the F1 visa and the M1 visa, these are the different student category under which these undergrad and postgrad students go to United States for pursuing their studies. They will also be impacted. And yesterday, the US Embassy in India has also put out a social media post saying that the students should inform their university counselor, their university coordinators, if they do not attend class, if they go to India, if they travel, they have to keep their universities posted because they might not be able to return if they miss their classes. So definitely,
Correct.
it's like the direct interference of the Trump administration, the government, in the affairs of the U.S. universities, and we do not know that how courts would decide on these cases because historically the U.S. universities, and for that matter, not only U.S. universities, Pooja, every university has been like breeding ground for thought churning.
Of
For,
course.
like a lot of
Correct.
protests
Correct.
have happened in different universities. Yeah.
So, Pranay rightly mentions that at this juncture, remember that this is a developing story. For now, it's a big decision. No new visa appointments. But can that change? Will there be a discussion, deliberation on this specifically? If there are some students in contention who could be screened thoroughly, but can it have an impact on everyone else? Pranay, thank you very much for now. Meanwhile, what are the students presently at the Harvard, the faculty members, because they are bearing the brunt largely? What are they saying at this juncture? Let's listen in to some of the voices on the ground.
At the core of the United States, we're a country founded on immigrants, and we're a country, one of our core values is being welcoming to immigrants from all across America, all across the world into American shores. And I think that we've really gotten away from that core value, but it's something that's really important.
I would say that we as international students in Harvard, in the U.S., we are not enemies of the U.S. We don't hate the U.S. If we are here, it's because we admire this country, and we admire actually the academic and the liberty and the freedoms that this country has. When we go back home, most of us serve as ambassadors to the country in an informal way. We go back to strengthen American ties with our countries economically, diplomatically, politically, academically. And so we are not the enemy. We are actually participating in the system, making this country bigger, if you want it, better in a sense. And so I will just say that we are not the enemy. You don't have to fight us.
I think that Trump's attacks on higher education stop, because if we show enough resistance, then he is going to fold. That's how Trump works. But if we start to give in, even just a little, fire a few controversial professors or stop admitting a certain type of students, then he's going to continue. He's going to come back for even more. He's going to ask for a list of 100 names of Harvard students who have participated in a protest just like me. He's going to fire every economics professor that speaks up against his tariffs, or a law professor who simply teaches about the Constitution. We have to stop him now, and if we do, I believe that we can succeed.
Look, I know it may surprise you because he seems so obsessed with us, but Donald Trump doesn't actually care about Harvard. He wants to take Harvard down because universities stand for free ideas and for free speech. Free ideas and free speech get in the way of authoritarians. And so, like authoritarians before him in places like Russia, like Turkey, and like Hungary, Donald Trump is attacking universities.